What's up? What's up? What is up? It's your boy Jay Reed, and I am accompanied by my beautiful co-host Chicquetta Shantae.
Hey y'all!
And we are back for another episode of the Computer Love Podcast, episode 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What you got for him, baby? You got some announcements? You got some church announcements that you can hit them with? What's up? We gonna do a bake sale. We selling cookies. What we trying to do? Trying to put a new roof on the building. What we trying to do?
We trying to do it all.
Hey, let them give them the announcements, babe.
Okay.
Give them the church announcements, babe.
I'm coming with the announcements. And today, first on the announcement, I would like to thank everyone that took time out of their busy schedules to not only follow, listen, like, subscribe, but also comment on every platform that we've had. So if you've done one or all, we just want to say thank you.
And if you haven't done that, what the hell wrong with you? You need to get up on it and do it. Like, you tripping. Like, you can't just be watching our stuff and then not liking and not commenting and, hook a brother up.
If you like it.
We ain't asking you for no money. Shit. Least you can do is just like the damn thing.
All right. Now we got some church music playing in the background.
Go ahead with the announcements.
But yeah, we're good. We just definitely seriously just saying thank you. We can go ahead and we can stop with the church. The music in the background. But literally, seriously, just thank you all for everything that you've done so far, for sharing it, for reposting, for subscribing, for commenting, reviewing. We are so grateful. There's a lot that we want to share with you. We are coming with, our experience, education, fun, laughter, advice, all of the above. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now, I also want to share with you.
What you gonna share?
About a fragrance.
Ooh, what fragrance?
It is called Belle of the Ball.
Belle of the Ball. Oh, that's that one that smells real good.
It smells so good. And Belle of the Ball actually means the most beautiful woman in a room.
The most beautiful woman in the room.
Yes. So I believe that every woman should feel beautiful. Even if you don't feel beautiful, you should still smell beautiful. Because not all the time do we wake up and we're like, oh, I just feel amazing. I feel beautiful. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to get yourself together and, put on something nice. Do your hair a little different. Put on a little Belle of the Ball and show up every single day.
Show out, because this stuff smells good. Like, my baby be wearing this and sometimes it gets hard to control myself. Spray a little bit. I smell vanilla. Mm-hmm. I smell some patchouli. Mm-hmm. And I just smell a whole bunch of goodness up in here.
Yeah, so that's a couple of the actual essential oils that are in it. It's some vanilla, it's some patchouli, it's some amber. I'm not telling y'all all of it, but it is definitely something that you want to try. It's soft yet long lasting. It's one of those things that I'm in the car driving by myself after a long day at work, and I'm like, something smells good. And it's me, okay? So
she be smelling herself.
Right, literally. So if you are, wanting...
I do that sometimes too.
Don't you seriously?
I'd be like, ooh, who farted? And I'd be like,
oh Lord. That was me.
I'd be smelling myself.
That is so funny. But it's only $50, you guys. You cannot find that in any other, department store for that price, for that size, and that quality. For real.
Yeah.
So
I spray one spray and I still smell it.
Yeah, literally it's that type of thing. And I'm not saying that because
it almost smells like it could be a unisex fragrance. Almost. Wow. But it smells really good though. Yeah, I like it on you.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate it. So if you would like to purchase a bottle, you can visit www.ipumpower.com. if you can't remember that, and you already follow us on either one of our pages, if it's YouTube, whatever, just comment. We will drop the link. If it's Instagram, we will drop the link. That's easy.
As a matter of fact, the link will be in the comment section under this video.
Thank you, darling. So that's all the announcements I have
all we got
for you. That's it.
Guess we got to turn off this church music there.
Right.
What we got today?
So today, episode 4, we are going to be talking about relationship trauma.
Relationship trauma. Okay.
Yes.
Sounds like we're going to get kind of deep on this one.
Yeah. I think that it's important. This is an important topic too, because relationship trauma is something that we may not even realize that we may have, or it may not show up until something triggers it. So I think that this is a good conversation to have, and that everybody has either experienced, from recognizing that their own trigger or their own trauma, or in dating and saying like, gosh, you can reminisce or look back to some things that you may have experienced with a partner, and it was just like, gosh, that person was really dealing with some trauma.
Yeah.
So definitely looking forward to unpacking.
All right, what we got
talking
now?
about it.
What we
So
doing now?
we're going to the chat room.
Chat room. Let's do it, babe.
I absolutely love. That's like my favorite. Go into the chat room. Let's look at the question for the day. And that question is, should you be able to communicate everything with your partner?
Should you be able to communicate everything with your partner? I do think that communication obviously is probably the most important thing between a couple. Should you be able to communicate everything with them? I think you should be able to, but I don't think that you should. There are things that are just not necessary to share, and they probably will just cause more damage than good. Better just keep it to yourself. And I don't even think that's really something that we have to tell people, because everyone has secrets that they're probably just going to carry to their grave, or maybe their closest best friend. But there's things that you just don't need to share with your partner.
With your partner.
They don't need to know how many sexual partners you've had. They need to know if you have any babies out there, or any STDs, or any baby mamas and all that stuff. But they don't need to know they don't need to know all the things you did in bed, or they don't need to know I don't know.
Well, I think that it could also be like, we want to make sure we're, looking at it too. Like, everything doesn't need to be shared, but also we need to look at when to share it as well.
Share it. Yeah.
Simply because, you coming home from a long day at work, the first thing you may not want to hear is what happened at my job with really, just like, things that it could not be. It doesn't have to always be something that's like, deal breaking or whatever to a relationship, but just sharing like things throughout the day, or something that happened, or that really,
all that stuff I think is fine. I don't think there should ever be an issue sharing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
If there's issues sharing anything, I mean, that requires a deeper look into the relationship to figure out why you feel that way. Typically, you don't want to share things that can make you vulnerable. Those are things that you want to keep close. And you got to have trust. It's very important that the person that you're giving this information to is trusted to handle it appropriately, and not use it against you in the future. I've definitely been guilty of this in the past, but if people are trusting you to share information with you, you cannot throw that back into their face later, or else you're going to lose all trust and credibility.
Absolutely.
And the next time they have something that they want to share, they're going to share it with somebody else, and you're probably not going to like that.
Yeah,
but you kind of did it to yourself. So
I 100% agree with that. You have to, like, when someone is bringing you information as a receiver, that's big. They're trusting you with whatever it is that is bothering them, or whatever it is that is concerning them. And you have to take that, like, that's a huge, like, responsibility too, because you could share something with me, and I need, like, to really make sure that if it's like your emotional well-being, like if it's, a partner could share anything about, I don't know, if they're going through something like emotionally or like mental health, emotional health, physical health, anything that they may want to share and they're sharing it with you, then I have to make sure as the receiver that I am caring for whatever this person is telling me. So
yes.
If you can't, if you don't feel like you can trust that individual with that information, then you may need to consider like, why is that? Is there a lack of communication that's happening in the relationship? Is there a lack of trust in it? Or is it simply you or me as the giver of the information that I have an issue with sharing the information? Like you said, being that vulnerable.
Right. And
it.
We're going to talk about this next, but it could stem from your past relationship trauma.
Yeah.
This partner may not have done anything to you, but previous partners have, and they mishandled the information that you gave them. So now you're bringing this trauma to the next relationship, and you're not sharing things that you should share, and that also could
absolutely, babe,
hurt the relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. Could not say it better. So
what are you not sharing with me, babe? I know you got like a whole bunch of dark secrets over there. Turn my notifications off. What kind of dark secrets you got, babe?
Can I trust you? Can I trust you?
You kind of a shady character.
So
I'm joking.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that the person that sent in this question, or if you're feeling that way, just really sit back and look at what it is. Like, look at your personal communication history within relationships to really tell, like, do I have a problem with communication, or do I have like trauma, that makes me feel like I can't communicate with this person, but I really can. And that is something that you probably would want to share with your partner. Like, hey, babe, it's not you. Like, I'm working on this, so just being open as much as you possibly can, because day one in dating someone, you may not want to come out and say like, yeah, so I'm not really good at communicating like all of my feelings, because that person might be like, okay, I'm just trying to have a dinner with you. I'm not really who says we're like together or whatever. So just determining where you are in that like relationship or dating phase to really determine like what you should share at that time in that particular space of the relationship.
And you have to understand that it's an honor. It's an honor to have someone willing to confide in you. So if you understand and you respect the fact and you treat it as an honor, then you'll handle it. You'll handle it correctly, because you understand the value. Not everyone trusts people enough to share information. Absolutely. So if you have someone in this world who trusts you enough to share something so deep, then do the right thing and handle that, because that trust doesn't come along too often.
Absolutely, babe. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. I think that was a lot of greatness within both of those. So I think it's time to move in.
Is it time?
It's time.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do it.
The main topic of the day. What is the main topic of the day, my love?
So we want to talk about how like past relationship trauma can affect like your current or your future relationships. And why, and like how,
and what to do about it. Okay.
So
this okay, go ahead, I'll let you start this.
Well, I want to start off by saying to anyone that is currently dealing with relationship trauma, are really working through your relationship trauma, I want to first say that your trauma is your trauma. You can't change that. You cannot change what has happened to you. You cannot change your experiences, but you can change how you are currently dealing with that trauma, unpacking it so you can change the trajectory of your future relationships or your current relationship. Because let's say if you've been in a relationship for a few years and you didn't handle your relationship trauma, or there's things that are coming up within that relationship right now, you can right now decide it stops here. Like, I want to do something about this. I want to communicate with my partner. I want to share with her or him what's going on. I want to fix this. And so in that, whatever your relationship trauma is, I think the first step is acknowledging that it exists.
Right. Okay.
And then sharing with your partner that this is what is going on, and coming up with an action plan to see, like, how do we tackle this together? Like, I'm here. I'm in this with you. Yes, some of it is individual and you have to work on it as an individual, but I'm supporting you through it if it's a current trauma that's coming up. So I wanted to say that first, is just say, if that's your trauma, that's your trauma. Stand on it, stand in it. And hopefully, if you're currently dating someone, or currently married, or currently engaged, that whoever you are with will stand with you through that trauma.
I like what you said. You can't change your trauma. Your trauma is your trauma, and what happened to you has happened to you. But you can change the future. And I think really what you can change, or what you do control, is the meaning that you give that trauma. A lot of times, you have trauma, whether it's something very severe, maybe you were molested, or maybe you were just bullied as a kid, or maybe, your mom said something mean to you that stuck with you for the rest of your life. And the meaning that you has given that is the fact that you're less than, you're not worthy. You're the type of person who deserves to be hurt. And those are the meanings that you gave yourself. And you gave yourself those meanings. You gave it those meanings. And it's up to you, whether it's through counseling or whether it's through personal development, it's up to you to change the meanings that you give those things. You can overcome these. You can get past these. You just have to reframe and change the meaning of those. Because like she said, you cannot change what happened to you, but you can change how you react to those things that happen to you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All of that, babe. All of that good stuff. So if you're watching and like my facial expressions changed a little bit, it's like really about to storm outside. Yeah. So I'm just looking like, okay.
I'm a fan of the rainy weather, because after this podcast, we're about to go turn the TV on and do some cuddling and listen to the rain fall.
Drop. Yes.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. Dun, dun, ba, dun, ba, dun.
All right.
What's the trauma?
Huh?
The trauma. What are we talking about?
Well, okay. So yeah, trauma could be all of those things that you just said. It can be guilt. It can be shame. It can be.
What was the question again, though?
How can, like, your past relationship trauma
affect your current relationship?
Your current or your future relationship.
Go ahead.
So it can show up when you least expect. So I remember giving this like life coaching video or whatever, and I used an analogy or an experience. So and I think it's perfect right now. I'm just thinking about it and it's coming out of nowhere. But the example that I used is like, have you ever lost, like, you hid something from yourself? Let's just say it's money.
You hid money from
you
yourself?
hid money. You've never done that? Like, let's
hid
say
money from
like, let's say it was like,
to find money. Why the hell am I hide money for?
No. So, okay. So some people, like, and this could be like years ago. Let's say you got $50 or something. He was like, okay, I'm going to put this away or whatever for XYZ, for whatever time it is, or for whatever reason it is, but you can't remember where you put it at. Like, you have.
I never did that. That's what y'all do out there in Cross.
Man,
look,
listen.
I ain't never did that before.
If you have done that, put it below, because I remember like sharing
Hide your money from you?
Like it could be anything. Like this, if you haven't hid money, you have like, and not say intentionally hide it.
I hid like my chips from my brothers and stuff.
You're so crazy.
Like,
not you intentionally hiding it. You putting something away for a certain period of time. You saying like, okay, if you put it in an envelope or whatever it is, you're saying, okay, I'm going to use this at whatever particular time, whatever. Yeah. But you don't remember where you put it at. So it's like, you know, you didn't lose it.
Yeah.
You hit it, like you misplaced it from like, so you forgot about it.
Yeah.
But when you least expect it,
you find it.
You find it. Yeah. And you're like, what? But you're not even thinking about it anymore.
I hide the remote control every day. And I find it unexpectedly every night.
So that is what we do with pain. That is what we do with like trauma. We say like, I'll deal with it later.
Go ahead.
I'll put it away like later or whatever. I don't got time for this right now. Like I'm putting it away for a specific time when I am ready to deal with it, when I'm ready to use it, when I'm ready to, you know, actually dissect and get into it. But what normally happens is you forget about it,
and you find that shit in your pocket while you're at dinner. You reaching in for your wallet or whatever, and you pull out your trauma, and you're like, oh shit, and you throw that shit. Yeah, okay.
So now you're in a relationship, and it's all good. Like, I mean, she looking good, he looking good, we happy.
Where does trauma come from?
All of a sudden, woo, this trauma that I put away for another time because I wasn't ready to deal with it has now shown up. And now when you think life is good and you think you're ready, now this trauma that you did not deal with is showing up in the most like the time that you don't want it to show up.
Right. Like you had you're meeting the parents for the first time, and your trauma
pops up.
Yeah.
That's what happens if we don't deal with it. If we don't like literally take the time now, because it's never a good time. You never really want to deal with it. Most times you want to forget about it. You want to put it behind you. You want to move forward. You want to be happy at the end of the day. You want to, you know, receive what you've been giving or whatever it is, and you don't deal with it. But if we don't deal with it, it's going to show up when we least expect it to, or when we least want it to show up. So
if you don't control it, it'll
control you or your relationship.
It'll control itself. It'll do what it wants to do.
It'll get out of control.
Right. Okay.
So that's one of the ways that I believe that relationship trauma can pop up on you. And when it does, because it's not a matter of if, it's when it does. How are you going to deal with it? Are you going to acknowledge that, yeah, babe, like it's not you, like this is a trauma, and you may not realize it until after it was a trigger, because sometimes something trigger you. It's nothing that I did to you. You are triggered by something that happened in your relationship, and now you popping off at me. You always do this. I'm like,
and it may not even. Well, it's all relationships, but it might not even be like a romantic relationship with another partner. It could be a family relationship, or just anything that happened into your life that was traumatic to you that you can bring into a relationship.
Yes. Yeah. And whatever it was triggered you. If it was a word that a family member said to you, and in our, you know, disagreement or something, that word was used, and you're like, you always do this to me, like you completely flip. And I'm like, I've never seen this side of this person. Like, what just happened? And I'm sure as the person that it happened to, like the person that is triggered, you realize, maybe not in that moment, but you realize that this was a trigger.
Yeah.
How, like, you have a responsibility to come to your partner and say, babe, now whatever happened or whatever it wasn't right. Both of us said some things or did some things that may have caused additional friction within us. But I do need to share with you that this is something that has happened to me in another relationship, or something that I experienced, and I kind of lashed out at you. Like, I made it bigger than it was as it related to you, but it was something that has been big in my life for some time.
or you may not even been the one to trigger it. It was something else that happened, and then you just take it out on the person who just doesn't even say the wrong thing, just says anything, but it was already boiling up inside of you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that it's important that we be transparent.
Be transparent. It's also important that you do the work before you get into a relationship. You have to and it's easier said than done, but you have to start a relationship with a clean slate. This is a brand new person. This person is not the cause of your trauma. This person didn't load your back up with the baggage that you're bringing into a relationship. But if they're willing to accept you for who you are, you have a responsibility to get yourself in order before you start this new relationship. Whether that means you deal with the traumas, you talk to a counselor, you talk to a life coach, or you just work on yourself. You talk to people in your past, talk to your pastor, talk to your parents. But you need to work on yourself and give your next partner a fair shot, a clean slate, and just start from a place of positivity, I think.
You said that perfectly. You have to do the work, you guys. We talked about in a previous episode about that, like sitting with yourself, actually doing the work. You have to do it, and then also know that the work is continual. Like you have to keep working.
There may be things that no matter how much work you do, it's just something that you're going to be dealing with for the rest of your life. You may have seen something that you may have seen or experienced something in your life that is just not, that no human can really just overcome. And if you find someone who loves you, then that person, you're going to have to be open, communicate what happened to you, be honest with that person and share it whenever you get to the point where you feel comfortable, depending on how severe it is. And that person is going to, if they love you and if they want to be with you, they are taking on a responsibility to protect you and to nurture you and to help you through this, knowing that this is going to be an ongoing situation. Absolutely. A lifelong issue.
Yeah. So I think that, it's always good to, like you said, like either therapy, life coaching, couples therapy, like whatever, just to make sure that you're creating balance within yourself and within like your relationship and creating like a space for us, to grow. Because we have to, like, when we're in any relationship, growth should be one of the key, the key factors. And one, acknowledging, two, taking the responsibility, accountability, and three, like doing the work together. Because I think that a part of what we talked about in a couple episodes is like, people want the happiness. People want that, like they want the picture of, everything looking good and being good, but they don't want to do the work. Like they just want to come into it and think it's just going to be all smiles, holding hands, like we doing this together, but working when you don't feel like working. And that's like, I honestly think it's like an everyday thing. Like it's a different kind of work, that's happening.
Relationships in general are work. I mean, I know everybody wants the fairy tale and this, they can happen in their own right, in their own way, but you have to understand that we live in the real world, and relationships eventually can end up monotonous. They can end up boring. They can end up mundane. You're just going through the motions, but you're going through the motions with somebody that you love and somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And you create those happy moments. You create those exciting moments. You insert those into your life. They don't just pop up all the time. It takes work. And if you're in a relationship and you're looking on Instagram and everyone's traveling to fucking Bahamas or whatever, doing this stuff, and you're going to work, you're coming home, you're cooking dinner, you're watching TV, and you're going to sleep, and you're thinking, my life is so boring. That's 99% of all relationships. So just understand that, and don't compare yourself to other people.
Please. Yeah. Oh man. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother thing. Yeah,
because I mean, we truly, because some of your trauma may be comparison of, what you see somebody else appears to have. And you think that, okay, this is also what I want or what I need or what I deserve. And you don't really know what these people are doing to make it work, or if they even have that truly. So don't get caught up in like, I mean, because I think we all at some point have scrolled, like you did a scroll, like, dang, that look, you know what I'm saying? But don't let it be beyond that. Don't get consumed with what you see, what you hear. I know we are sitting in these seats and we're saying like we're keeping it, real with you. We're giving you how, our experience, what we feel. But I don't even want you to look up at us and be like, babe, see? Like, this is what we should be doing.
No, don't do that.
Are holding us at a certain level.
Don't hold me to nothing.
Don't, because this is work.
I'm a human. Any woman who can deal with me, I commend you 100%. My baby is an angel and a saint.
Like, it takes work. And I say that, like, I said it before, like, if I was going to do this with anybody, the only reason why I'm doing it because I would, I would do it with you. I'm not saying that, it's easy, but what I am saying is that, we do the work. And doing the work is so important. And like, if you're not with someone that is going to work with you, help you do the work, because sometimes your trauma was the fact that you weren't with the right person. Like, sometimes the weight that you was carrying, sometimes you was carrying somebody else's weight, and it wasn't even like, in that next relationship you may realize, dang, I really wasn't even triggered. Like, whole time they were triggered. Like, and I was taking on their, problems there.
And now you get to take on their trauma into your next relationship. And now you're taking
it into the next relationship.
Yeah.
So we have to, we got to sit with ourselves. And most importantly, we have to sit with each other. Like, we have to sit with our partners. And I feel like, with us, for example, I'll just say like, babe, not today. Like, can we just us, like, like just us talk, or just us, go do this, or just us, because I think so many times with trauma and past experiences and stuff, like, people are carrying so much. And like you said, there's some things that I may be carrying that I didn't share with you. And you may not know that, but sometimes we have to trust each other and saying, babe, I can't do it today.
You got any trauma you want to share?
No, I think that really I will say, for me personally, like, I do the work. And that's not to say it may never show up, but
you do the work. I agree. You definitely you walk the walk. Like, and
it's not, doing the work ain't easy. Like, I want to be clear with people.
I mean, you still got more work to go.
Absolutely. That's not, no, you're right. That's a fact. We all do. But me saying I sat and I did the work and do the work is to be very careful in saying that when we came together and when we're doing things together, I did the work to make sure that, is this like trauma, or is this something that is really truly bothering me as it concerns us? So, and sometimes, like, if there's a disagreement, you still have to be able to really sit with yourself and be like, wait, did she really like upset me, or was I triggered? Was this something that like reminded me of something from my past and I took it out on him or whatever? That 100% like, happens. So right now there isn't a trauma that I feel like is showing up in like our like relationships, but that's may
one thing
be
that I've said about you. Well, I don't know if I ever said it out loud or have I said it to you, but I think one of the things that I appreciate about you is that you're like so mentally sound. I mean, and I mean that with the utmost respect and compliment, because so many women that I've met have not been as mentally sound as you are. It's like you don't have any daddy issues. You're very rational. You're very thoughtful, and I don't mean that as far as like thinking about me, but just thoughtful in the way that you approach things. It's a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. So thank you for doing that work.
Oh, that's sweet. I appreciate that. And I feel like
don't get no big head though.
No. Shut up, you're so silly. I just feel like
we can't both have two big ass heads. I'm talking about physically. I got a huge dome.
Yeah, me too. So I just think that that's important because I don't know what you're going through. Like, I think that's the kind of thing where in any relationship, our friends or anything, I think before I just kind of go off, I try to like in my mind figure out, okay, there may be something going on in his day, or it could like just anything. And I just kind of in my mind kind of go through it and say, before you just flip out and be like, let me really kind of think what could be happening right now. Because the last thing I want to do to anybody is send them over the edge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it could be, anything. So I try to be rational. Now, sometimes you might have to be like, hey, I don't care. Like, you got to hear this today or whatever. But that's not to say that there will come a point in our relationship where something you do or say may trigger, like, I don't like yelling, or I don't like, that was even as a child, like they didn't really have to yell at me. All you have to say is like, like just talk to me, like let me know. So if someone, like if you were to yell at me or something, then that for me would be like, what are we doing here? Because, for me, I watch a lot of Lifetime. I have, had something where somebody did yell like in a relationship. And for me, I'm done. I'm like, I'm about to leave, because I do feel like when someone gets to like when rage begins to show, like anger, and somebody is like yelling, you don't know what's next. And like physical abuse, it's a no for me. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I've never like been in that type of position, and my heart goes to anyone that has been, man or woman. But I do, and I think we touched on that in an episode before as well. It's just that, being able to also try and manage my things that could trigger me. So if we are in a disagreement and you begin to like say some things, or like I feel like is like demeaning or belittling, then I'm going to be like, wait a minute, like this. But I'm also going to, within like our disagreement, or when it ends or whatever, to come back to you and say like, that bothered me. And maybe you didn't mean it the way that you said it, but because XYZ, this was a trigger, this was, said in a previous relationship and it made me feel this way. I need you to understand that this is why, because this can't happen. Like, I can't feel like this. And if I'm sharing that with you at that moment, then I need you to be able to receive that and really like nurture that. And if you can't, then that's the place for me to decide like, this is not a healthy relationship for me. Like, this is a form of like being toxic. This is a toxic relationship because the way you communicate is a trigger for me, and you're not willing to work in that or to nurture it. So then the best thing for us to do would be to leave,
So we've been together 5 years. Let's say we're married. And let's say we get into an argument and then I yell at you. No. You bounce them?
No. I think that a key thing in what I said is like, if it's something that's like continual, like if it's like repetitive, if I'm sharing this with you and you're like almost ignoring the fact that this is something that triggers me. I think it's not going to take 5 years to, you know what I'm saying, to get to that point. So I'm just saying, like, this is something like in the like beginning as we're growing, and I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? That's a trigger. Let me explain why this is a trigger. And if like it's a continual thing, or it keeps rearing its head, well, that's different.
Yeah, and that's just a matter of disrespect as well.
Yeah,
because you've explained what it is that really bothers you, and if they respect that, then they won't do that.
Is there anything that you want to share, like any trauma?
I mean, I do have some trauma. I think it may run a little long if I start going into what the trauma is. But my personal trauma doesn't stem from a past partner relationship, romantic relationships. It more stems from childhood. So I was raised with me and my brother were raised with my mother up until the age of 12, and I've always been like a mama's boy, right? Obviously, because that's who I live with, my mother. So grew close or whatever. At the age of 12, I had my mom sent us to go live with my father, and we didn't really have a relationship with my father. We may have seen him maybe, once a year, like a handful of times, whatever. So we knew who he was and a little bit about him, but never had a father-son relationship like that. So when my mom sent us away, I didn't really quite understand. I mean, she explained it to you that, your dad wants you to live with him or whatever, but I didn't quite understand it, and it really hurt me a lot. It was a very pivotal moment in my life. And I think it really affected my ability to have close relationships with people. So I do have a problem, I have a lot of superficial acquaintances. And it's nothing that they did wrong, it's not an indictment against them. It's really, it's me and my inability to be able to really strongly connect with people. However, when I do connect and I do make these relationships, they last a long time. I'm a very, very loyal friend. So if me and you truly become friends, not you, but just in general, we're probably gonna be friends for as long as you want to be. Like if you, for some reason you decide that our friendship's over, then that's on you. But as far as me, I'm pretty loyal. And that's because I do have an issue, or I lack the ability to really get close, whether it's fear or whether I don't know. And I think that actually hurt me in prior relationships as well, because I always prepare myself for the woman to leave.
Gotcha.
So I always like, well, fuck, if you want to leave, then leave. Then I'm not gonna let it hurt me.
Gotcha.
And I think that attitude maybe sabotages relationships, because I'm like, all right, my mom, she kind of left. So you leave, then whatever. I don't.
You have to, life has to.
It's the I don't care attitude.
Gotcha.
If you want to leave, leave. I'm not about to beg you to stay, and that type of thing. So I guess that nonchalant attitude comes off as not caring and not loving, but it's more of a protection mechanism, and that's something that I need to work on myself.
We'll do it together.
Let's do this, babe.
You
could be my life coach. Chicquetta, say my life.
Whatever. No. I'm just going to be. I'm your partner in this relationship. So
we gonna get close.
I want to get close. You gotta tell me if we're gonna get close now. Like that, you have to be willing. We
gonna get close now.
Whatever. You have to be able to, open your heart to say, like, I truly, want to let this person in. And I think that, I think it's big that I love that you shared that. And I think that a lot of people can identify, even if it's not like something with their, parent, or it could be friendships. Like sometimes people have been betrayed a lot by friends or whatever, and so they don't know how to like you said, that abandonment, or that feeling that somebody is disloyal, feeling like somebody is not communicating well, and I'm doing all the work. And I can kind of identify with you in reference to I remember when you said that was just kind of your way of Like if you're gonna leave.
Yeah.
So I remember, sitting with myself, and I shared with, I think I may have shared on the podcast, but so I lost my brother in 2011 in a car accident. In 2013, I lost my first cousin, who was also like a brother. We grew up like brothers and sisters. So I lost both of them in car accidents. And it literally just seemed like, after that, some of like my relationships were just kind of like whatever. But I kind of had that same thought process that two men that loved me for who I am. I didn't have to do anything but be me. I didn't have to, do nothing extra, like to try to make them see who I am. They saw me.
Yeah.
If I wanted to sell fried chicken on the side of the road tomorrow, they was going to be there, like.
As long as it was good, right?
Yeah.
You got to make that chicken. I'm not about to eat no nasty fried chicken. Like, I support you, but you got to at least make it good.
But it got to be good, right. But that's who they were for me. And they were going to show up regardless. They were going to love me regardless. And the fact that they did not choose to walk out my life, they didn't have a choice. Like, their time, like, they didn't have a choice. So I had this thing that any man that wanted to walk away, that chose to walk away, by even him saying, oh, I'm done with this. But if that was like cheating, if that was like anything that was like a deal breaker, you made that choice to walk away. So anybody that like, two guys that love me most that didn't choose to walk away, any guy that chooses to walk away, it was just like,
because that's the meaning that you gave that to yourself,
because you gotta go, like, so it was.
But that's you do you acknowledge that that's the meaning that you
gave?
Yeah,
I gave, definitely, but it was a way of processing the pain.
Yeah.
Like, because even you grieve relationships. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was a way of like a grieving mechanism to say, but it took more work to say like, what really happened here? What happened? Like, because most people are like, you want a genuine relationship. You want somebody that's going to give you what you're, giving as far as like loyalty, commitment, work, hard work, whatever, like emotional support. And if you don't feel like you are getting that, or they literally cut the ties with it, that was something in you that you're grieving now. Like, I have to put back the puzzle pieces that I didn't necessarily want to be, broken. Yeah. And I think it's that like
two men that love me, were taken from this world. So if you want to go on your own, then damn it. Bye.
Right.
That's what you were thinking.
Yeah. So it took like, you know what I'm saying? It took like, that's why I said, we have to understand the root of our pain. We have to understand, and
the meaning you give it,
the meaning, like, of that pain, the meaning you give the pain, and literally just sitting down, determine like, what happened here? What was my part in this? What could I have done? What can I do? And I think that's, even if yours wasn't, a loss, if it was the abandonment, it's the same thing. You gave it a meaning. You gave like that experience a meaning, and you gave it a way for you to grieve it, and a way for you to move forward. But the important part is everybody moves forward, but what are you taking with you when you move forward? Are you taking the baggage with you? Or are you really moving forward, like freely, to give and to be able to love and, to receive that support?
Man, I think we beat this horse about as bad as we can beat this.
We did that. We did it.
Let's go. What's up? We got a closing question?
Closing question, babe. All right. Let's talk about it. How do you think that you have like changed for the better over the years?
How do I think I've changed for the better? I like to say that I'm like a good cheese or a good wine or a good whiskey. I just get better with age. It's just one of those things that naturally happen.
That's mine. I'm like fine wine. I only get better with time, right?
No. What has gotten better? I I mean, with age comes wisdom. A large part of my life has lacked a lot of wisdom. But I think I'm in a position now where, I mean, just mentally, I feel like I'm stronger. Maturity, I feel like I'm stronger. Financially, I feel like I'm stronger. Spiritually, I feel like I'm stronger. I just feel like I'm stronger and I'm getting better every day. And a large part of that, though, like you always say, is that it's because I put in the work. I'm not the type of person who sits around and just kind of, I'm always working on a way, whether I'm in school trying to further my education, or I'm listening to some personal development podcasts or audiobooks or whatever. I'm always working. I'm reflecting, and even since meeting you and having these deep conversations, it allows me to reflect and try to improve myself. So I think life is a continual journey of improvement. I don't think there's ever a level to where you just can maintain. I think in anything in life, you're increasing or you're decreasing. You're never level. So if you're not increasing, what are you doing? You're decreasing. Whether that be finances, whether that be your health, whether that be your relationship. If you're not improving your relationship, then you know what? Your relationship is going down. If you're not putting money in your bank account, your money is going down. If you're not improving your health is going down. There's no stagnation. It's either going up or it's going down, and I always try to go up.
Love it.
Yeah. How about you?
Man, how have I gotten better over the years? I think every year I try to work harder at not only the mother that I want to be, the wife that I want to be, the businesswoman that I want to be, the friend that I want to be, the daughter that I want to be. So I think that over the years, every year I've gotten better at those things.
How? Because when you do, you balance a lot of hats and you take all your roles seriously. So you take your friendship seriously. You like to invest time in your friendship. You like to invest time in me, and your family, and all the different things, your business, your job. How do you balance all that, and how do you prioritize these things? Because you value all of them, and I know, and you do a really good job of it. But there's something that's got to fall to the wayside. How do you balance all that?
One, I think that communication, like, even if I feel like, because sometimes, like, so, Mother's Day was just celebrated, and my goddaughter,
Fred,
my goddaughter texted me, and her mom.
Sorry, I was yelling at her. I told my daughter to get before she messes up these wires. Get.
She, texted me, and she was just saying, "Thank you so much for just being, a great godmother." And it really, it touched me, because sometimes I feel like I want to do more.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. What happened?
So we just celebrated Mother's Day.
Yes.
And I was saying that my goddaughter and her mom texted me just saying, like, "You're an amazing godmother. Thank you for all that you do." And sometimes I will feel like, gosh, I want to do more. Like, and so I said that to her, and I was like, that means so much. I wish that I could do more, and when I can, I will, kind of thing. And she was like, "Girl, listen, your goddaughter praises you. Like, she says that, you are da-da-da-da-da." And so I think for me, how I prioritize those things is like in communication, like just literally communicating with them. Like when I can, like I'm calling. When I can, like if it's just to say hello. So sometimes it's not like people don't, they may forget like what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel.
Yep.
And so I try to make sure that I'm making the people that means so much to me feel that they're important to me.
That's deep. Yep.
So that's probably that's the biggest thing that I could probably say that I try to do. And every year I just try to be like a little better at that, and try to make sure that I'm just taking time for me too. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like saying it's okay for me to be like, I can't today.
Mhm.
I need to relax. I need to like be poured into. And so I think that that's another way that I'm able to do what I do, is because I have like friends, family, like people that will pour into me as well. So
Awesome.
that's how I would say, babe.
Where'd you learn that? Because that's a quote that I like. I've heard and I've quoted it many times myself. People don't remember what you do; they remember how you made them feel. Where'd you learn that from?
I don't know. I'm always on. Like it is, like you said. I think it's something that, like, from you know, before the quote, but it's true. Like you can go back to your childhood and you can think about like, and I'm gonna just say this too, like, and I'm gonna be really quickly.
No, go ahead.
But one of my girlfriends and I were talking today, and she was like talking about bullying. And we were like, you know, we had a childhood like bully or, you know, different things. It's like, even though now you and that person may be cool, you'll never forget how they made you feel at that time, like when you were that age or whatever. So even like we know that without us even knowing it was a quote.
right. And even like someone that you may have met like just for a moment in your life, if they make you feel strongly enough about something, you're gonna remember this person just because they made you feel a certain
like,
way.
Man, I remember we was in college and this, you know, So that I do want to close with saying that take a look at your relationships. Take a look at your former relationships and just make sure that you're not holding the people that you're currently in relation with, and that's friendships, marriages, whatever, dating, making sure that you're not making them pay for mistakes of your past or traumas of your past. And if you are, it's not too late to start doing the work to change the trajectory of your current and your future relationships.
Beautiful. Till next time, folks.